everyone! The budget finally went up, and now we can afford backgrounds! Let's change the background. Huh. Nice. Well, now since that's out of the way, hello there. In this video, I want to talk about Tom's and Friends, The Great Race Near and Far. The Great Race Near and Far is somewhat a sequel to The Great Race, and it shows the cast from The Great Race going to their homes. It uses a 2D style that looks pretty nice, and it looks way better than all engines go will ever look. One of the problems I had with the engines in the movies is that you never get to learn about them. Yeah, they are at the Great Race, but you just never get to know anything about them besides their kind of bland personalities. Which is really sad because these characters look amazingly great. So, does the Great Race Near and Far give the engines some backstories? No, they don't. They don't really even give us much about the character that we didn't already know, which is honestly kind of sad. But instead of focusing on what the series isn't, let's focus on what it is. The show mainly has episodes with pairs of characters. There's usually always two engines or an engine and a human. The way they show the engines' hometowns is honestly pretty believable, and a lot more believable than what they did in Big World Big Adventures. These places feel like real places, and that's kinda nice to see. One pretty big missed opportunity is to go to Hiro's hometown, Japan. That would have been kinda awesome to see, but I can understand why they didn't do that, because they're probably just trying to focus on the Great Race characters. Speaking of the Great Race characters, some of the characters actually have some pretty good episodes. Like Gina being a jerk to Vinny, and Frida being jealous of Ivan, and it even shows young Bao having a Henry and the elephant situation, except instead of elephant, it's a mountain goat. One thing I find really interesting is that all the character voices and narration is done by Mark Morgan. This is probably the last project where a narrator gets to voice all of the characters in Tom's and Friends. Honestly, this was the last time we ever saw these characters. This would not have been a bad way to end their stories. But of course it wasn't, because we got to see them in Big World Big Adventures Saga, or as most people call it, Bwubba. There are actually some new characters introduced into this mini-series, so let me talk about them. We have two cranes, the German Express coach, two unnamed diesel engines, dockyard engines, the Dogmaster, the French station master, a station master, some mainland engines, the Swiss tank engines, and the Russian engines. These engines aren't really that special, they're mainly just background characters. Now I feel like it's time that I rate the show. So, is this show worth watching? I feel like that's worth to mention in a review. That's only up to you, but if you enjoy the designs of the characters from The Great Race, you'll probably enjoy it. But if you didn't like any of the engines or most of the designs from The Great Race, it'll probably just be boring. Well, that'll be it for this review. I'm trying to do better with reviews of episodes. So, if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more videos like this one. Alright, goodbye everyone.